Good evening all, I'm Aditi Lamba with the Thursday night edition of South Asian News. Welcome to Vision of Asia, voice of our community. We are coming to you from our studio in New York City. Here's what's happening tonight in the coronavirus pandemic. Globally, we are looking at more than 1 million deaths from the novel virus with more than 36.3 million cases. European countries are seeing a sharp rise in COVID-19 cases throughout the continent, prompting the possibility of strict lockdown and social distancing mandates. The United States has surpassed 7.6 million cases of COVID-19 with at least 212,000 deaths. A forecast by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention now projects 233,000 deaths in the nation by the end of this month, October 31st. 11 states have set new records for cases. State Wisconsin continues to grapple with an overwhelming number of hospitalizations and surging cases, and Governor Tony Evers has announced that the state is opening very soon a field hospital. The National Guard members have been seen outside the Exposition Center where the hospital will be built. Florida is reporting more than 3,000 new cases of coronavirus, highest single-day jump in new infections since September 18th. New Jersey, our neighboring state, according to Governor Phil Murphy, has reported the highest number of new COVID-19 cases since the end of May. With more than 211,000 cases, Governor Murphy called it a sobering number. Here in New York City, zip codes with surging cases have been identified. The city was once the epicenter, is trying to curb the spike in cases with 169 public school sites now closed in clusters of COVID-19 cases in what's being called a red zone, with all going to remote learning. Along with that, additional 308 schools which have been listed in a yellow zone will begin mandatory weekly COVID-19 testing starting tomorrow. Meanwhile, first-time unemployment claims filed last week totaled 840,000 unemployment claims. This is happening while the talks about another stimulus bill have been halted again, with the House Democrats and Republicans unable to agree on a bill. What do you think will help with this economic ramifications of COVID-19? And what has your experience been with your job this pandemic? Write to us on events@itvgold.com, and again, calling all political commentators, officials, and activists for comments on the upcoming November 3rd elections. Again, a reminder for all here, please do register to vote if you are eligible. With that, tonight's episode highlights much on politics 2020, COVID-19 relief efforts, and Hollywood. Here are the headlines. Political analyst Rohit Vyas discusses Vice Presidential Debate 2020 and Elections, New Jersey. Vibha raises $400,000 at DreamMile X Virtual Fundraiser, President's Volunteer Service Awards 2020, New Jersey. Priyanka Chopra's psychological thriller Evil Eye releases October 13th on Amazon Prime, featuring actor Bernard White. A lot more on the other side of the break. Stay with us on Vision of Asia, voice of the community. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Aditi Lama, and this is Vision of Asia, Thursday night episode of South Asian News. Looking at the impact of COVID-19, we are talking tonight about Indian nonprofits tirelessly working and their efforts in COVID-19 relief, providing resources and assistance to the most vulnerable, underserved communities. On that, such a nonprofit is Vibha, an organization which has supported more than 250 projects in India and 10 projects in the US by providing opportunities for over 2.3 million children in need. Currently, Vibha supports 23 projects in India and 7 here in the US and continues to be fully volunteer-driven with a focus on enabling childhood development. Recently, a virtual global fundraiser titled DreamMile X was organized by Vibha, raising $400,000. The great fundraiser hopes to empower more children suffering during this pandemic and other programs of Vibha. Celebrating the success of this virtual fundraiser and with the mission to honor Vibha's member body, an in-person event saw President's Volunteer Service Awards 2020 given to Vibha's volunteers in New Jersey. The volunteer members were recognized by New York Indian Consulate's Deputy Consul General Mr. Shatrughan Sinha. Here is the story on Vibha's award ceremony organized following all CDC guidelines of social distancing, mask and hand hygiene.
Hi, welcome to Vibha's Volunteer DreamMile X event for 2020. This year we had a virtual event. I am Insia. I'm Youth Volunteer Relations Director for New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania chapter.
So in terms of Vibha in in general, we've impacted 4.3 million children over the last 30 years. So I think that's pretty big. And so our Dream Mile over the last 4 years, at least in New Jersey, has continued to impact those kids, and we've raised a lot of money for them. And I'm just glad to be making like some impact.
This is an unique award ceremony. We are having it in the COVID times. So, of course, we are not having a big gala night inside a hall. I'm sure this award ceremony will go a long way in the memories of the awardees. These are young children who have volunteered, and they have served the community for hundreds of hours, and that is why their efforts have been recognized. I congratulate the organizers. Vibha team has done fantastically well over the years. It is almost 30 years now, and I'm sure that they will continue the good work. So my congratulations to the Vibha team. My congratulations to the volunteers and the award winners today.
Hi. So something really special about Vibha is that it's a completely volunteer-driven organization, and the Dream Mile event is actually completely driven by youth volunteers here in New Jersey. So volunteers like myself and Numair, we help organize the entire event every year.
I've been volunteering, kind of following Numair's footsteps, as well as I wanted to add that 85 cents of every dollar goes to a child in need. And I think that's a testament to Vibha, in itself, and the drive that these volunteers have. And I'm extremely grateful to be a part of that.
So this year it's been different than what we've usually had DreamMile as, but we've been able to get and have 4,500 participants for our run this year. We've raised $350,000 this year. Even though there's COVID, we've still done a pretty good job, and I think all of us are just working through it.
So we basically just asked around stores and stuff if we could set up a booth in front of them, and it kind of really helps because we can reach out to more people, and we can get more volunteers like that, and B, we can get like donations, or we can get new registrants, and it's really good to be able to like go out and like ask new people, because if we stay in the same community, then we can't get as much like outreach and stuff, and yeah, so we set up booths in front of Patel and Patidar and other local shops, and then we also went door to door in our communities and asked them if they would like to donate or participate.
Yeah, I think from an overall perspective, this is the fourth year in NYNJ now that we've been doing this. So we started very small. We've become much bigger, from a walk perspective. I think the impact in the local communities has been really good as well. And this time being global, I think we've moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania to New York, as well as outside of here as well. But I think overall amazing impact, especially with the youth as well. But Hardik, I'm sure you've done a lot of work with the DreamMile X as well.
And absolutely, I think this year especially was really difficult due to COVID. But thanks to all our sponsors, we would like to thank all our sponsors and kind of continue their support to the organization. And we'll be having even bigger event next year. So thanks for all the support from all the volunteers and sponsors.
This was a very unusual year, but despite that fact, many young volunteers showed a lot of interest. They took a lot of initiative, and they reached out to many stores in our cities, Franklin Park, and they collected a lot of donations. They started a lot of online campaigns. So I'm very, very, very fortunate to have worked with them, and they have shown great leadership.
I'd like to introduce Malika. She is our marketing director for New York, New Jersey area.
So this year the DreamMile was a little different because we had to do a virtual event, and it was a challenge. We were not sure how the turnout will be, but we've done absolutely fabulous. In fact, the DreamMile X is turning out to be one of the largest events, virtual events this year. So we did a very good job. All the volunteers have put in a lot of hard work. We got a lot of professionals to help us with the marketing. We've got publicity through Radio Mirchi. So it's turned out to be one of the biggest events of 2020. So I'm really, really happy. We've had a very successful fundraising event.
Thank you everyone for making this a very, very successful DreamMile X 2020. It is truly a global event. We've got a number of different countries participating, and everyone's actually come together even during the tough times of COVID and making it happen. I want to thank each and every volunteer, each and every participant for what they've done for the children's education in India. And I would really want to thank ITV for coming out, and we really appreciate this. Thank you so much. So I would like to thank Indranil and Natasha, one of our biggest sponsors in New Jersey, New York area.
It's a wonderful event. Thank you. This is, I think, the third or fourth year that you're doing it. We've been part of it every year. It's been great. And thank you to Vibha for all the great work that they're doing for children in India and in America.
And firstly, Kayur for having Vibha come here and dine with us at RSUI. As the council said that there's no free lunch. Obviously, we believe in that. But thanks to all of you for coming for dine with us. And Vibha is a great organization. We know Kayur for almost several years, several decades, I would say. Please enjoy your lunch. Once again, thank you for choosing RSUI for your place of celebration, and all the young folks, fantastic job. Keep it up. Keep eating, keep running, keep walking, and keep serving.
Now we have an ITV Gold exclusive featuring upcoming American psychological horror thriller Evil Eye. Releasing on October 13th, Evil Eye is produced by Jason Blum and Priyanka Chopra Jonas, with directors Ellen and Rajiv Dasani, written by Madhuri Shekhar, and stars Savita Chaudhary, Sunita Mani, Bernard White, and Omar Muscati. An entirely South Asian cast, the movie blends Indian superstition with suspense and provides glimpses into the Indian-American culture. The movie aims to promote South Asians in the American film industry. On October 13, Evil Eye will be available on Amazon Prime Video, showcasing the story of a woman played by Savita Chaudhary who realizes a dark past linked to her present when her daughter finds a new boyfriend. We have tonight our conversation with actor Bernard White, who played the role of Krishnan in The Evil Eye, sharing much insight and his personal take on the movie and its message. Here is Bernard White. Bernard White, welcome to ITV Gold. I hope you're doing well today.
I'm so good, so blessed. Thank you.
Balu, don't take it to heart. Your mother is in a very bad relationship.
How bad? I just have to warn her.
Can we please go to a doctor?
Of course, we have you today to discuss none other than Evil Eye with us. What a fantastic movie. First of all, congratulations. I've had the privilege of seeing it ahead of its release because of, the press privileges we get here. So let's dig right into it. Your character was one of the warmest characters in the movie and really keeps the family together. I want to know how they described the character to you and what really struck you in it the most.
They didn't describe him to me. I did the radio play of this play, 9 months before we shot the film. Wow. It's on Audible. It's a radio play. And so they never described the character. I just read it myself. And so I got to see it more purely. He's a professor and he's a smart man. And he's a really good man. And when you're doing these things, you don't really know what anything is, and it's all accidental what happens, and And so from seeing the film, then I get to see, oh, that's who that guy is. It's like I have this distance from it and I see, wow, okay, so this is who that. So what I see is this really loving, good man who is mature enough to not dominate his wife. You know, we're talking about a culture, right?
Yes.
That where women are, which is the whole world. It's not just India. It's the whole world where women are treated as less than. And this is a man who's grown up in that culture, who's been told he's a prince, he's been told he's a king, and who should get his way. And he's had a good sense to marry a strong woman. And now he's grown up enough to say, I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to not try to save you or fix you. I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yes. You know, the movie is a psychological thriller, but it has a very different take on horror, and it has a fully South Asian cast. So I have to ask you, how did that feel to create such a different genre in which the entire cast is South Asian?
Oh, well, it was a joy. Can I just say it was an absolute joy. You know, and I've worked with Sarita before. Sarita and I did a play together way back in 2004. And so we've known each other. And that was an Indian. It was a Vijay Tendulkar play. And it's, you know, it's like being with family. It's like, and especially when it's not about it. So often I've been in these situations where I've been in an Indian family, you know, done TV pilots and stuff, where that's the issue. Oh, let's look at the Indian people, you know? And this is not that. This is just a family, a normal human family that has things that go on. And it was so it was a great gift to be able to do this without commenting on it, without making it being about the fact. It was just who we are,
yes,
human beings. Right?
Definitely normalizing South Asians in the industry. Thank you so much for being with us here on ITV Gold. I would love for you to give one last message to your audience.
Love each other. If you're a man, calm down, tamp your ego down, trust women, listen to women. That's what real strength is.
Yes, for sure. Well, I really appreciate you for that message, especially when we are talking about women's rights in this country and so much more. Thank you for that. I hope and wish you the very best for the movie.
Thank you so much.
See, I knew if you just met him in person, everything would be fine.
It's time for the short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be back shortly. And welcome back. This is Vision of Asia, the South Asian news segment, and I am Aditi Lamba. Looking at politics now, yesterday saw the first and only debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris in Utah before a small socially distant audience with 2 sheets of plexiglass separating the 2 contenders. Beginning with White House's response to coronavirus and deaths in the nation, the debate also discussed a broad range of issues including economy, climate change, racial justice, trade, healthcare, and women's rights. Less than 4 weeks remain until the elections, and last night surely saw both candidates speak strongly, appealing to their base, with President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden seen as the biggest targets and focus of discussion. Bringing a great insight into the understanding of this vice presidential debate, earlier today we spoke with veteran journalist and ITV Gold's political analyst, Mr. Rohit Vyas. Here's what Mr. Rohit Vyas had to say about the debate and the South Asian perspective. Today I have you on the show to discuss last night's vice presidential debate. So just kicking off this interview, I have to ask you, Senator Kamala Harris came in basically attacking President Trump on his doings as well as the way he has run his administration in the last 4 years. Vice President Mike Pence came into the debate basically targeting Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, on her work as a senator and her work with Joe Biden. I have to ask you, what did you feel about how they presented themselves and how they sort of related to the audience during this debate?
I think Kamala Harris actually, I was surprised that she did, I think, in my opinion, a lot better last night than the vice president did. I think she came across as articulate, as extremely intelligent, as understanding where this country is headed right now, and where she and the Biden administration, she led by the Biden administration, want to take the United States going forward. I think she wasn't so much on a personal attack of the two of them, of President Trump and the Vice President, as much as the administration's record. And she tried to focus especially on its handling of the pandemic, the coronavirus crisis that we face and we're in the midst of continuing right now. So I think she tried to focus on that, talked about everything that was done in this administration, the chaos that has happened in the country in terms of the divide that we see now before us. In fact, as we do this interview, the FBI has announced in Michigan the busting of a militia gang that was threatening to kidnap the governor of Michigan and overthrow the state government. So we're in the midst of that kind of national chaos right now, and Kamala Harris, from the get-go, brought attention to that fact, which she blamed squarely on the shoulders of the administration.
Definitely. You know, just discussing more on COVID-19 and what was said in the debate last night, Senator Harris, when she was talking about the administration's response to COVID-19, said that the COVID response was a historic failure and they knew it and they covered it up. Vice President Mike Pence pivoted that statement into the fact that America came together and the nation sacrificed for each other. What kind of message does it bring when you have these contrary statements about the administration's response to COVID-19? And what do the audience really have to analyze when they look at that?
I think the audience must have been completely, utterly confused, as they have been since the beginning of this crisis. There are contradictory messages coming. No one knows, for instance, what the condition of the president is right now. There is no accurate forthcoming statement from his team of doctors or anybody right now, ever since he was released on Monday. And there's a lot of speculation going on right now. But as to the debate itself, I think that's what Kamala Harris was trying to do, was trying to focus the nation's attention on the fact that nothing has been done. This country is in the worst position internationally in terms of the virus, with more than 210,000 deaths. I believe it's close to 213,000 or something like that, or even more at this point of the interview that we're having here right now. And I think she tried to focus in that this has been a catastrophic failure on the part of the administration. Pence, who happens to be the head of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, tried to defend the record by saying that they had come together, they had done whatever should be done, and the nation is doing fairly well when you think about the overall picture of how large this country is, with its population of 320 plus million people. I think he tried to make it seem like the 200,000 plus deaths was not so bad in relation to the population that we have in this country. And President Trump himself, as you know, has been talking about this being like the flu. But indeed, it's not like the flu. This is far more insidious, far more dangerous. There are far many more unknowns about this virus than there ever has been in at least 100 years. So I think the vice president was trying to defend the record. Whether he succeeded, I'm not too sure he did. I think Kamala Harris, in my opinion, and again, I point out to your viewers that I'm bipartisan myself. I'm not affiliated with either party. I speak as a journalist and as an analyst. And in my opinion, last night's debate was won by Kamala Harris.
Well, this is all for tonight's show. Remember to send us your suggestions and get your voices and organizations on our show. Email us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on Facebook @itvgold. You can also now subscribe to our YouTube channel for watching many of our popular shows for free. Thank you for joining us tonight from Queens, New York. This is Vision of Asia, and I am Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.